Hello, Visual Rudies, and welcome to the first episode of the Hawkeye Review podcast featuring me and Clint Barton himself.
Hiya.
That doesn't sound like Jeremy right now. It's not Batman. No, it's Chris. Sorry, Jeremy was set to come on, but unfortunately I don't know him and I'm not a celebrity. And if I did message him, he'd probably think I'm a creep.
Probably.
So, no Jeremy. But Hawkeye is out, and for the next 5 Sunday podcasts, well, this one, then the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the next 4 after this as well will be Hawkeye. Because there's only 6 episodes, but we've got the first 2 episodes of the one. I've got notes. It might look like a lot of notes. But it's not, it's just 2 episodes.
You got notes?
Yeah. Of course I got notes, mate. I've watched it when I was getting tattooed, and I rewatched them again just to what I'm thinking shenanigans. So you got notes. But in typical Visual Guy fashion, because I usually ramble on and blur my mouth, let's listen to Chris. You can do both episodes on a oneer. Likes, don't likes, was it boring, was it awesome, was it fun, did it rank high in your whatever everything you do or don't like about it. I'll spark up a cigarette. Hawkeye episode 1 and 2. Featuring Chris's gal, Hayley Steinfeld, as Kate Bishop. What all your thoughts? All of it, Chris. Go.
All of it. Interesting. I'm getting into it.
You liked it?
I am. Obviously, it's a different side to Hayley that we're used to seeing. For people who don't know what the fuck is Hayley, she's always more of the kid / comedian kind of person growing up. But she's more of the serious face, even though she's a bit of a comedian in this as well.
Yeah, she had a few funny moments.
Yeah, I think her character seems brilliant.
Does you think the casting's good? You think she's great as Kate Bishop?
I don't think they could have really got anyone better, to be fair.
No, I like the fit. I think it's cool.
Yeah, so I think these two work well together, Kate and Clint. I think they work well together. And just that opening scene where she's destroying the clock tower.
Yeah.
Which destroys the clock tower. Well, obviously, apart from the opening scene where.
Yeah, you see the shit. Which again, I mentioned all this.
Yeah.
Don't worry about Easter eggy shit. Just what did you think?
Like I said, I'm enjoying it. There's no issues with me at the minute with it. I'm having fun.
The only thing, we've mentioned this before, because of where the MCU is in terms of crazy multiverse, like let's be honest, Spider-Man's the fucking major thing at the minute. Even just mention it's just giving us goosebumps.
This is
for
more
fuck's sake.
calm.
Yeah, it can't, because remember we went from WandaVision to Falcon and Winter Soldier, and we thought, well, it suffers the effects from this weird, godly, supernaturally mental shit to 2 dudes. And then now, but I personally don't mind. I can understand why somebody says, well, I want to get back to the weird, crazy shit, not just some guy with a bow. I kind of get that, but I agree with you. I thoroughly enjoyed this. And I love that Hawkeye's getting the love and recognition that, because it's probably safe to say he won't be many people's favourite Avenger. That's why when a few people said it, like, you're my favourite Avenger, I'm thinking, really?
Yeah.
Is he your favourite?
Yeah.
But I do like the live action Hawkeye's given me a lot of love, which the MCU's been great for. Did it for Guardians, did it for a few other characters. It's given me a lot more love for characters because I've got a 3D in-depth look at a character.
It's a character I've not really looked into before, to be fair.
I've got plenty of Hawkeye comic books, but Hawkeye wouldn't rank in my top 20. Yeah. But this is given a bit more love.
Fucking magazine that you give us.
Hawkeye v Deadpool. Deadpool v Hawkeye, sorry. You twatted.
But no, he's a character I am getting to know.
Yeah.
And obviously he'd be hanging up his bow.
Well, we assume so, don't we? Yeah. Okay. It looks as if it's good because this was a especially episode 1 was a Kate Bishop heavy episode.
Oh yeah. It was more of a personal life growing up and then wanting to help after the end game and stuff like that. And obviously we forward a lot of years. And obviously she was one of the people that survived the snap as well. She confirmed that.
The blip.
Yeah.
Spidey's lot call it.
So no, I am enjoying it, to be fair.
I know we're 2 episodes in, so it's a bit of a cunt move to chuck this in.
That's a cute little dog, really lie.
I mentioned Pizza Dog as well. I know it's a cunt trick to do this right now. We're only 2 episodes in. You can't give us a definitive answer. Is it up there with the MCU shows so far? Lower tier, upper tier?
I think it's going to be an upper tier, but I think that's just me being biased because I'm a Haley fan.
Mate,
And a Clint.
I'm not going to argue against that because that time Spider-Man gets infinite points because of me. So if you want to do infinite points because you love... So does that mean Kate Bishop's going to eventually be one of your favourite characters then because of her?
Possibly. I'll see how things go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be a bit heartbreaking for you if you turned out like, I really hate this character, but I love the actress.
If that's the case, that's the case. But at the minute, I am seeing.
There's no reason why we won't like.
I'm seeing positive vibes with it. To be fair, I think she's doing a brilliant job.
Have you got any? Again, quite early on, thoughts to theories and how it's all winding down. Of course, we have nothing so far explaining the ending of Black Widow or whatever.
Yeah, right. Yeah, obviously that's going to be coming towards the end.
Well, you assume so because that was such a big like, Clint killed your fucking sister. Go get him.
Yeah.
And it's like, where's Yelena at?
Yeah.
But obviously, maybe that's just a big. Maybe that's a payoff that they want to do after the series. Maybe there's a season 2 where it just follows Kate. Maybe they follow it in Young Avengers. But I'm assuming she comes in at the end. Surely.
Something's going to happen at the end. Just trying to figure out what, because obviously he's got the Ronin suit back and he's hiding that at the minute. Season 2, by the way. Episode 2, by the way.
Right, there's heavy spoilers. I'll put it on the title. There's heavy spoilers.
So obviously, but does it stay in the locker? How long does it stay in the locker? No one knows.
Yeah. It's going to come into play again, isn't it? Surely.
Obviously, now Kate's on people's radar.
Mm-hmm.
Who's the deaf woman? That's an interesting person to think who's she now. Trying to figure out who she's behind.
And I guess another big question. I've got my answer to this. Anything to do with the multiverse in this?
No.
No, mine's just straight up no.
This is just basically just everyday Joe, unfortunately, in the superhero world.
I'm pretty sure when this ends, and then when Spidey starts, when this ends, we've not had any effects.
We're not that far ahead.
I mean, maybe it is a little bit different. Maybe at the end, because I can't guarantee where Loki ends, and all that weird shit's happened with Sylvie. If that's in a time with this. But I think that personally, I think it's going to be its own niche little bubble. Maybe it does happen and Clint comes back and maybe it turns out, I don't know, Kate really is his daughter in this weird fabricated movement. I don't know. But I don't think we're going to have any multiverse shit in this.
No, looking at that, I don't think we are, to be fair. I think it's just going to be these two doing their thing.
Yeah.
And then
it'll tie up, and then it will affect them eventually when they get involved with Avengers-y shit or whatever shit.
I think, well, because throwing it out there, I think something's going to happen with Clint, and then I think that's when Kate's going to go on the mission to try and do what she can to get him back, or revenge his death or whatever, depending on what happens.
Top of your head, the timeline. When's the next plausible thing we could see these two in? Say, just for example, say we know how this ends and Clint's still alive and he's still semi-Hawkeye. Do we see them in a She-Hulk? Do we see them in just the next Avengers?
I wouldn't see them in She-Hulk. I think
I'm just using that as a random.
Yeah.
When do we actually? Do you reckon we get to see these two again?
That's a fucking.
You know, we can guarantee we'll see Wanda in Multiverse. We can guarantee we'll see Spider in this. We can go. When do we see these?
This is the thing. Well, for all we know, he could die. Clint could die, and we could see Clint and Natasha in another multiverse, fucking fighting away as they did in the past.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, again, we've still got 4 episodes to go. There's still a lot we need to know.
Oh yeah, like I said, I don't think we're even going to get a cutscene until the last episode.
Yeah, but I was just thinking about the other notes. I was thinking, when the fuck? Because obviously, just say this ends normal, happy ending. They saved the day. They got rid of whoever it is they're fighting. If it is whatever, when do we see them again?
It's a weird because it's quite short. So there's a lot of stuff to go in to answer the question.
It feels like they want to make sure it was wrapped up before Spider-Man comes out. That's the vibe I got. Not because it's multiverse affected, but just because they need to finish this little story off, and now they can.
Yeah, but it's quite short to answer the question. Like, Clint killed Natasha. What are you gonna do about it?
Yeah, so that's what.
And now we're getting his thing into like we've only got 4 episodes.
That's what I was getting
to get to that bit.
I was thinking maybe at the end of this, like Loki had, you could quote me if I'm wrong because you might have seen somewhere. If there's a Hawkeye season 2 in the works, maybe they just do the Yelena battle in a season 2, like Hawkeye will be again in Hawkeye season 2.
I haven't heard or seen anything
I
about
haven't,
season 2.
but at the same time,
but I don't think we're going to get any information until towards the end.
we didn't know there was going to be a Loki season 2, did we? Until it said at the end.
Yeah, so.
But you enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it. I will watch the other 4.
Good. Well, so far, I think every MCU thing we've been given, apart from What If, you've really enjoyed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which is cool. Yeah, a lot of my notes are just fun little Easter eggs I've noticed. Are you ready for me to run through? And then, again, you can
elaborate.
But again, a lot of them aren't really... There's 1 or 2 conspiracy talks, but a lot of it's just cool little stuff that I've noticed as a comic book fan and a comic book reader. First of all, this was straight away, you mentioned it at the start, this was so heavy Avengers Assemble, Shatari attack.
Yeah.
We see the building that gets hit because young Kate's, that's Shatari. Well, they don't know the Shatari at the time, do they? But
yeah.
Aliens, blah, blah, blah. And it's quite cool because we see a different angle of the Hawkeye trick shot.
Mm-hmm.
We see it, and I thought, that's quite badass, because
that was quite cool.
Hawkeye does this famous moment, blah, blah, blah. I thought, that's fucking awesome. But what else? I got a massive vibe from this. You know the different bits when they're fighting the tracksuit mafia? They're going down different streets. I thought, this is very, very feely like a Netflix show, because it felt like all the Netflix shows set in New York. They do their Daredevil stuff in the alleys. And I thought, this is proper... It's giving me the Netflix show vibes. So I don't know if they do eventually bring on Jessica and all that kind of shit.
I've heard a rumour that Kingpin might be involved.
That'll be fucking... If I see Wilson Fisk, there will be a Wilson Fisk going up.
Because we don't know who's behind... Like say that deaf woman. Who's she? Who's her? Who's her boss?
I'll get to them characters in my notes.
So it won't surprise me if Kingpin is involved, which then obviously we're going to be in the Daredevil world first.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yes, hopefully. Stark Tower, chuck it out there. Whenever I see a Stark Tower, chuck it out there.
Yep.
Kate's suit looks identical to the... sorry, not Kate. I mentioned Kate's suit. The intro is identical, and I can show you the things that are upstairs. It's identical to how the artwork of the covers of every Hawkeye issue from that run, the 2012 run, was thingy. So literally, what you see in the comic books, in terms of art style and that, they've plastered it all over this show. So as a comic book reader, I'm like, that's fucking sick. Because Disney shows never fail to amaze with the intro. I love the intros. There's something about the music in Falcon and Winter Soldier that this jazzy, crazy, it was fucking mint.
Yeah, they seem to be on par with the intros, don't they?
I fucking love them. The tower, which you've already mentioned, if you look on that tower, there's a plaque that says Obadiah. And obviously we know Obadiah was the villain from Iron Man 1. And he was a very, very rich, wealthy man. And he's got a plaque as if to say he helped fund the school. He put money into the school. So maybe he attended that school in this universe or whatever. But it says Obadiah. It's got his name written on it. So it's a nice little nod to our first MCU villain. Kate Bishop's costume, comic book exact. See, a lot of these notes are kind of like that. She is quite identical. Straight away, if she didn't have like a building of a costume or getting it, literally, she had a costume there and then. I wouldn't change it. It looks fucking amazing. The statue of the outside of Grand Central, we see a lot of the Grand Central stuff. Mm-hmm. And of course, there's a lot of imagery from Avengers Assemble. A lot of the battle took place outside of Grand Central Station. They've got a nice little monument now to the workers. Fire people and all that kind of shit. So I said fire people, not firemen. Mm-hmm. PC. You PC me, Chris. So obviously, we are still living in New York, which is still somewhat remembering or not suffering, but feeling the effects of that battle that took part. Was it 2012? It was 2012, wasn't it? Which is pretty cool. Rogers the Musical, which is quite fucking weird. Was an extremely weird thing to see.
It was very weird.
Yeah, I liked it, but it was weird. I love seeing Clint watching it because he's like, what the fuck?
And I said to myself, after that, I was like, I fucking hate musicals.
Fuck it, mate. I would go watch
musicals.
I would watch that shit any day of the week.
Nah, I hate musicals.
But the lyrics to the musical reference the Sokovia Accords, and they also reference the food they mentioned in Avengers Assemble. At the end, when Avengers Assemble, they win. Shawarma. And Iron Man's like, there's a good shawarma place. They mention that thing. The musical ignores a lot of Hawkeye stuff from what he did in the Battle of New York, such as he took out the Loki Shatari mini ship.
See, bless him. I felt sorry for him in that shot. Sorry, I felt sorry for him in that shot because it looked like he wasn't getting praised enough.
Oof.
I felt so.
They literally took it out, and he's thinking,
yeah.
I did a lot in this battle.
Yeah, I felt so sorry for him in that. Bless him.
So it ignored a lot of that.
He doesn't get much praise, I think, Clint.
No,
and I think this series will help that now.
Yeah. And my next point, the hearing loss. He suffered the effects of a lot of these because it gives you little flashbacks to Age of Ultron and Endgame and all this shit. Because obviously, Natasha's gone, done, dusted. She's dead. But you got to remember, he's just a guy. Steve Rogers can recover. He's big. Thor can recover. Yeah. Iron Man, he's guarded by a suit. Hulk. He was just a dude amongst these gods.
Yeah.
But he's still, kind of.
Him and Natasha kind of. Well, I've seen it apart from Iron Man, he had his suits. And stuff, but him and Natasha were kind of the only normal people there. To be fair,
exactly.
He had his bow and arrows. She had her fucking hands and fists.
Yeah, which was just nuts.
Yeah.
What's quite funny is in this world, people believe that Ant-Man was in the original Battle of New York. Again, the lyrics and all that say they thought Ant-Man was there. That's why he's on stage, because they thought he was in his mini size and no one could see him during the whole battle. So they think that Ant-Man was there the whole time fighting along and shit, but just because he was proper small. Clint's like, he wasn't there. But the rest of the world think it's nuts. We see Natasha get on stage, and that's when it all starts to happen. But we also see that girl look back at him, and her hair is identical to the plaits and the whatever you'd call them. So he's obviously still thinking. We see this, which is quite funny because it's kind of reminiscent from a little bit of the Falcon and Winter Soldier thing. With the graffiti, it happens a couple of times of the Thanos was right. So we know that there's a small group of people out there or whatever, that believe in what Thanos did was, well, me and you've said it.
We've kind of agreed on it.
But we disapproved it because we're like, hang on a sec, we keep saying that, why don't you just snap and make enough for him? Anyway.
Do you know, I've just thought of an interesting theory we could see how this playing out, to be fair. This is what I've just came up with now. Right. Obviously, we're going to get to the battle where Natasha's sister and Clint are going to have a hoo-ha, whatnot, and she's about to kill him. And then I think Natasha's just going to pop up. Hiya, guys!
I mean, she could pop up, theoretically, because if their battle is taking place when He Who Remains is killed, because we see Loki come back and there's loads of changes, when that happens and they come to a battle, something might happen in Natasha's life, or if we are getting the Steve Rogers series and she comes back to life or whatever, that could happen at the same time as this Hawkeye series is happening and that event in the TV. So we could.
It'd be nice to see it out play out that way. Then we can say, look, he didn't kill me. It was my choice. Leave it at that. But on this side of things, this is when the sister is too involved in with Madam Hydra.
Yeah.
Too involved in with
Dark
her.
Avengers.
And I think then I don't know what will happen with Clint and Natasha. But I think we'll then get to see more of the sister, and then that's when we're gonna get Kate involved.
Could possibly. So Chris is doing a bold statement out there in this series. You think Black Widow
towards the end?
Oh, yeah. Chris is going a bold statement there. I've always had a bad pronunciation of this, right? Jack DeQuincy. I've always said DeQuincy, but it's kind of like Pokemon. Until they say the name live action in my ear, I've never known how to pronounce it, because some Pokemon I pronounce completely wrong. I heard on the anime, like, I've been pronouncing that so wrong.
Jack.
Basically, it's the mustache father-in-law.
Yeah.
He, in the comics, is known as a villain called the Swordsman, and as far as I can remember, not that I've read every Hawkeye comic, I don't ever remember him being a Hawkeye villain. But it's quite obvious if that's the case, and he's the villain, the Swordsman, we are already introduced to this guy that's come in who loves swords.
Yes.
So I'm pretty sure the villain, the Swordsman, which is a very weird C-list villain to bring in, but again, Marvel do it all good. I think potentially we will see the Swordsman as a villain, because I think we've already had him now. In the comic books, Armand DeQuincy, in the comics he's his dad, but in the show it's the uncle who goes, he's got his throat slit. He's the one that helped him train and blah, 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 become the swordsman. But in this, instead of it being his dad, it's his uncle. So I don't know what they're doing there. Pizza Dog is the MC version of Matt Friction's The Pizza Dog. Matt Friction was the guy that did the run from 2012. He did the writing for all the comic books, which this show is heavily based on, the art style and everything. And a lot of his work reappears. But he had a pizza dog in his comic books, and they seem to have took it. There was another part of that name that they give it. I can't remember what it was now, but it was referred to as Pizza Dog. So I'm pretty sure it's along the lines. I don't know if they said it in the show. I couldn't see it if they had. I think this would be known as this Pizza Dog. That's why she gives him the pizza when he comes in. It's Pizza Dog.
Just leave it Pizza Dog.
Yeah, hopefully.
He hasn't. I don't know. She says he hasn't got a name. I don't know his name.
No, I didn't give him a name when they were thinking. Did they?
Sure.
Nice dog. That's not my dog. In the comics, there is an exact same one on about Matt Fraction's comics. There is a bit where Kate interrupts a black market sort of auction event, but it's to help Clint because they've got this tape of him which makes it look like he's doing a criminal act, but he's not, and they're trying to sell it off because they're like, if I get a criminal tape of an Avenger, I can think that scene all plays out just minus her doing it for Clint. So again, straight from the pages onto this, which I fucking love. It explores the idea of missing Avengers tech and missing weaponry, just like Spider-Man did. You know how Spider-Man found like the Ultron heads and shit. This went on about it because again, we've got to keep an eye on what the fuck is they're after this watch. More stuff from the Avengers headquarters after the battle. Thanos, there was a Ronin suit, there's weapons, blah blah blah. I'll get to the watch again in a sec, which is nuts. The Ronin identity is still unknown. Nobody still actually knows who Ronin is. They didn't know it was Hawkeye. The Avengers knew it was Hawkeye, but the general public had no idea it was Hawkeye. The Tracksuit Mafia, which is the name that this show is given them people, right? Yes. This is just a fun one. They always say bro. They always said bro in the comics. But in the comics, I remember them. I put them up as a note. They were called Tracksuit Vampires. But in this, they're referred to as the Tracksuit Mafia. So I don't know if they've just changed the name. They're thinking Tracksuit Vampires. I don't know if the Disney think that's a bit of a shit name. We'll call them Tracksuit Mafia or what. I don't know.
That, or maybe they don't want to get it confused with Blades. Stingy.
Potentially,
possibly.
Yeah. Potentially. The bottle flip attack, which she does in the auction bit where she got the bottle, she flicks up. To me, this could be me looking at weird lines. It was so similar to Cap's shield flick up. I was like, oh my god, it's reminiscent. But it's a reminiscent of what her mum did at the start when she went. It's like, oh, there's a lot of the way you do and shit. I'm just looking at similarities. It was quite cool. I'd
say probably more on the mum side of things, just growing up.
No, I think that there's a similarity. But I just when I seen it because we saw this badass moment of Kate fighting, and as soon as it played out, all I had was that bird's eye shot of Cap in the elevator and he shield. I was like, fuck. It's just reminiscent. Again, I've just mentioned it before. The selling of Stark's watch. Why is that watch up for sale? Why is it all focused about this watch? Is it just a case of its high value because it's Stark's watch? But if you remember in Civil War, he did have this mad watch where he brought out and it was like an Iron Man gauntlet and he stopped Bucky from shooting him. So I don't know if it's that exact watch or I don't know what. But do you know what is quite cool about the watch, Chris?
What's cool about the watch, Dan?
This, you can't say I'm getting too weird because we know for a fact that he's here. The label of the watch, because, I love to look at numbers. I did it in Loki all the time. The label on the watch says Lot 268. In Avengers issue 268, who was the main villain, Chris?
I don't know.
Khan the Conqueror. I'm not saying Khan's implemented in the show, but it's another number nod, which has been happening for all the MCU shows at Khan. I'm just putting it out there.
Putting it out there,
people. Pizza Dog gets saved from traffic. Again, that's another thing from Matt Fraction's comic books. It's Kate saving the dog, Pizza Dog from the traffic. Look, mate, getting the goosebumps talking about. I love it when they do identical stuff from page to screen. Yeah. As a fan, it's just amazing.
Amazeballs.
Who?
Amazeballs.
Kazi, Tracksuit Mafia. Kazi is the name of the. I'm pretty sure again can never been stated for a fact. She is one of the higher ups in the Tracksuit Mafia, aka the Tracksuit Vampires.
It's the deaf person.
I'm pretty sure it's the deaf person. Her name was Kazi, but what's weird about this Kazi character is in the comics, the Tracksuit Vampires. Their leader was, one of the heads of was a villain named the Clown, and Kazi was brought in during the Matt Fraction comic books as a new updated version of the Clown. So I've got a funny thing. I don't think the Clown will appear, but again, it's a really awful villain. Hopefully not. I'm pretty sure this person's a character called Kazi. He was Matt Fraction's version of an old villain called the Clown.
I'm gonna stick to Kingpin. It sounds better.
Hopefully. This one I actually had to look at because I have no idea about this, right? I might be saying his name wrong. Pat Kiernan, right?
Who?
Pat Kiernan. You know that they keep going back to this news reporter throughout the show, like, oh, Ronan's back. Is Ronan back? He's a guy in a grey suit. He's doing a report. I watched it. I was like, I recognise you from somewhere, you prick. I'm like, where do I recognise him from? So I had to fucking Google some shit. Turns out I recognise him because we've seen him in other MCU films. He's a real life. This is not part of the story. He's a real life news reporter in America, and he is the one connection, the same character crossing through both that appeared in not only these shows but the Netflix shows. So he's the same reporter in all the Netflix shit as well as this. So we actually do have a character connection. It's quite nuts. But every time they do like a news bulletin in the MCU, they always go to him, apparently. That's why I keep recognising him. Like, where do I... Because, you know, it's somebody you've seen, but you don't really interact with much.
Yeah, it's weird when you get casts like that, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's another one. Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi.
Yes. The guy who was sitting on the bus.
Yep.
Holding the phone.
The streamer guy who's streaming it. Yeah.
He's the same guy. Bear with me.
Oh,
He's
yes.
the same guy
that did the Spider-Man flip. Spider-Man, do a flip. Yeah. Spider-Man, do a flip. Yeah. Fuck, it's nuts, isn't it?
It's weird how these secondary casts don't really...
just pop up.
Yeah.
Dotted. So I wonder how many times we've overlooked it and people have appeared here, there, and every fucking way. You are right. It's weird as fuck. Right. This one's quite a nice, juicy one. Stark Tower mystery continues. We've had this Stark Tower mystery. Like, what's happened to Stark Tower? Do you remember Spider-Man Homecoming? John Favreau, Happy. They're all leaving it. Basically, they're packing up loads of stuff, aren't they? It's like they're leaving the tower.
Yes.
Because we know that something's happened. They're not using it. Stark's selling it or whatever it is. But Clint literally confirms, because Kate says, can we not go to Stark Tower, blah, blah. Clint literally confirms, that got sold years ago. So we know that Stark Tower has now been sold off. It no longer belongs to Stark and whatnot and all that shenanigans. And in the Loki show, I pointed out the fact that we saw the Stark Tower with a different name of Queg. It said Queg on the side, which is when in the comic books, Kang the Conqueror, one of his alter ego names was Queg, and he bought Stark Tower. So again, I'm not fucking saying Kang's in this show. But there's a lot of fucking references pointing towards it. It's mad. This one's quite cool. Creatures of the Dark Galaxy was a poster on the back, and I thought, I've never heard of that. Is that from comics? Straight away I thought, is that a Guardians reference? I'd not heard of it. But in the comics, her auntie's house, which is where they go to, and you see that poster, she was an actress in the comics, and she actually had an estate which got sold off and become the headquarters for the West Coast Avengers, which was heavily set up by Clint Barton and all that kind of shit. And Clint actually made her auntie an honorary Avenger for a while. So the auntie is a character we've seen before in comics, and we know that she was an actress, hence the old movie poster, because it had no Marvel reference. It was just an old...
What if Natasha's the auntie?
Mate, like I said, I'm just putting pieces together at the minute. Kevin Feige likes to do it his own, not completely comic book, but his own, like, that'll be comics, but we'll make it happen this way. I'm just putting shit out there. This was a big, massive, funny one.
Oh, good.
Right in the background, centre of shot, Disney store. Did you see it? Did you spot it? They're in Times Square, they're walking along, there's just a massive Disney store. I thought, well done Disney, we get it. You own everything, you've got your own shops inside, your own shows. Alright, get on. Fans dressed as the Avengers costumes, again with Ant-Man, because people believe that Ant-Man was there. Detective Cordell, again, he's straight from the comic books, who had a lot of storyline with Kate Bishop, which was quite cool. Grills, the guy that took Hawkeye's Ronin suit and he had the battle with, which was, I love that scene where he's just walking through, he's like, what the fuck, it was mint. But he didn't really have much significance in the show, but his name was Grills, and in the comic, Hawkeye's neighbour was called Grills, and he eventually had like a bit of a bad run-in with Kazi. So again, just a couple more little pieces that nodded up. Clint Barton steals one of Natasha's moves. Let me see if not a move, fighting move, a plan. Can you tell me which one it is that he stole?
No.
In Avengers Assemble, we see Natasha tied to a chair, don't we? And she's
Yes, this is what he's tied up.
That's the plan. It's called catch and release. You get yourself caught just to get to the spot.
Yes.
Just to do whatever you do. We see the exact same thing. He gets himself caught and he's untied. It's the catch and release thing that Natty does, and he copied it. I did bring it up as well. The shift manager. There was another character when there's Tracksuit Mafia. We saw Kazi, but we also saw that weird guy, didn't we? It was blacked out. We didn't really get to see. There's another leader of the Tracksuit. I don't know if they wanted to refer to him as the Mafia or the Vampire. I'm going to carry on saying Mafia. Called the shift manager. I don't know if that's him. I don't know if it's the crack. I don't know if that's another weird B-list villain they're bringing in. But if it is, that's kind of cool. Are these the notes that I ran through already? Yeah, they're already. And then my last one, which is pretty cool, straight from the comic books, and this is probably my favourite one because I love it when they do this. Kate's username on her little track app shenanigans is Bishop11202112, meaning November 11th for the 1-1, 2012 for the second part of the code, was where she made her comic book debut in the Matt Fractions comic book.
That's cool.
I like them ones. So
talking about the security thing, is that legal?
Well,
can you track other people's phones just like that?
Well, they're called. It's her parents got the security company.
Yes,
that's part of their company. I'm only assuming that it's a service that they supply to customers. Like, okay, if I'll download it on my husband's or my son's phone if they ever go missing. That's the only justification I can think of. But in other words, I'd say no, you're wrong. Like, sorry, no, you're right. So,
yeah. And then she gets herself captured, and then Stop talking.
But yes, they're all the little things. Again, we don't have to go as nuts as Loki or nuts as WandaVision. I think it's a bit more cut and dry. I love your idea of Natasha coming in. Unfortunately, I think this show will purely end. This Tracksuit Mafia will be the main villain. I think the swordsman, if he comes in, it looks like he's going to be there because the clues are right in front of us. I think he'll be the main villain. They'll stop that threat, and I think we'll get a Hawkeye season 2. And I personally, I don't know if Hawkeye still might die, and I think Kate Bishop might go straight from Kate Bishop to Hawkeye, and she might carry on season 2. I don't know if we are going to get Clint dying or if we're going to get. I kind of hope not. I wanted to have that nice little family sunset riding off thing.
Right. Right. Tracksuit Mafia, Death Lady. I think they're all connected. Going through it. Yes, I've got theories, but obviously we just don't know what's what.
Yeah.
But
I've got all that shit there. I don't know.
Tracksuit Lot, Death Lady. Obviously, they must all be involved with Mustache Guy.
Well,
Swordsman Guy.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to say. And they're all involved together.
Yeah, because at first I thought maybe it was him, that black silhouette in the back. I thought, is that Swordsman? Is that Zach thingy?
Possibly. But
then I'm like, there's another villain called the Shift Manager who was the real leader of the Tracksuit Vampires, but the Tracksuit Mafia is supposed to be this MCU version of the Tracksuit Vampires, now the Tracksuit Mafia. And we know that they're a gang that Ronan fucked up. That's why they were like, hey, back out the woodwork. It's a quite funny gang.
Yeah, they seem to be quite funny, to be fair. I don't think we're going to get any reference to Black Widow until at least second season, to be fair.
Yes,
I think we're just going to go and see, because they say there's only 4 episodes left. That's got a lot of shit to answer for before we get to fucking Black Widow.
See, they could set up the Yelena thing. Maybe she does kill Clint, and Kate Bishop dawns the name Hawkeye and Avengers Clint. Because we know the Dark Avengers are coming because we've got the US agent. Yeah. They've now got Yelena. I'm assuming there'll be some sort of Iron replica and 4 along down the lines. But I don't know if they're going to do a Dark Avengers versus Avengers big thing, or if it's going to be Dark Avengers against the Young Avengers. I don't know.
I think they're going to just play out what they're playing out. They sort out shit with Mafia guys and the Swordsman. Clint goes to his family, and that's it.
I'd like that for his ending.
I think that'll be it for him. We won't say. I don't think we'll probably see him for a while.
But that's a good thing if you leave it there. Sorry to interrupt you mid-flow. If you leave him as a happy thingy, say if she's a Marvel character that has continuous seasons, and she's in a shit dire strait, because he's still alive, she could call upon the Hawkeye in season 4 or Young Avengers and say, "I need some help just quickly." And we can have a nice Clint Barton come back for a one-off. Which would be quite cool.
And I reckon the cutscene we'll get at the end, it'll probably be Elena
arriving in New York or something.
Trying to talk to Kate.
Yeah.
Trying to get it on their side, but she doesn't know why yet until later on.
There's definitely going to be some sort of Madame Hydra shenanigans, because maybe for all we know, she gets the swordsman or whatever and puts her on the Dark Avengers, maybe. I don't really think Madame Hydra will be in it somewhere, because she's been heavily entwined with the not the supernaturally weird multiverse shenanigans, but she's been heavily entwined in Falcon Winter Soldier and we saw in Black Widow the more human-y side of shit. I think that will come to play. I think we will see her at some point, and I definitely think Yelena will be one of the ending scenes to set up a future conflict between her and Kate, or her and Hawkeye if it isn't resolved in this one.
Well, like I say, I think that Yelena will end up twisting Kate to join her gang. After Kate,
so you think Kate Bishop will join the Dark Avengers? Oh, okay.
But right. So yeah, they'll do their thing.
Yeah.
Clint will go back home to his family. Kate will just do whatever Kate's doing, trying to be the anti-hero person, trying to protect the world, a bit like Spider-Man. And then she'll end up coming across Elena, saying, "Right, if you like doing this, join my team. We'll get you this. We'll get you that." She'll and then blindsided kind of thing. And then
kind of like what she done with Yelena.
Yeah. And then she'll do a little bits and bobs with her and for her, thinking, "Oh, yeah, she's part of the team," and whatever else. And then either Clint will get involved after he hears that he's on the wrong side. She's on the wrong side.
Yeah, so he'll have to come back to.
Or she'll get given the mission to end Clint, as well as other people will be involved. Yes, Natasha's sister. And then I think that's where all that will play out in season 2.
That's kind of good, because that say if they did sway Kate, that means that Madame Hydra now has her own Cap, her own Black Widow, and now her own Hawkeye. So she's just missing Hulk for an Iron Man.
Yeah, but Kate's unaware of why she thought she's helping people.
She's been like Yelena's been misled lies to help Madame Hydra. That's quite a good idea. I like that. I mean, I don't like the idea of Kate going bad, because I really like her. I want to root for her.
But I don't think we'll see
in terms of a grand over story, that's great, because you have no, you're on the wrong side, you're completely blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And plus, like you said, we need a definitive answer as to how we're going to see and why we're going to see them again. Because, like I said to you, I don't know when Hawkeye's appearing after this. He's not going to be in Blade. He's not going to be in.
The same with Elena. When maybe we'll see Elena again.
Yeah. So either they have to set up a Dark Avengers film in the future, or a Young Avengers show. I mean, I like the idea of the Young Avengers show, because I think it would be quite cool. Maybe they're going to do a West Coast Avengers. I don't know.
I've got 4 episodes, so all that to do.
Yeah, not long, and then we'll end the year up with some Spider-Man madness, which is just going to lead us all more onto. And you are right, by the way, as well, sir. I've had to extend my holidays because select cinemas are getting Spider-Man on the 15th. It's confirmed. B confirmed it for us.
Does that mean that we are then?
Well, I don't know if Carlisle's getting it or if it just said select cinemas. My best guess is Carlisle's not a select cinema, because the amount of money Carlisle cinema gets to compared to like London and Manchester and fucking shit like that, and Newcastle, because obviously there's more people. So if that is the case, I mean, I don't know if you can or not, but I said to B, you will be driving me to the nearest cinema. I am not letting this film be out and me not watch it. I'll get trained to Newcastle on my own.
We'll have to figure out where it's at.
Fingers crossed, Carlisle get it, and they it's not just select cinemas; it's a broader thingy. Fingers crossed, that would be ideal scenario. It's a scenario.
It's weird about the UK getting it 2 days earlier.
We get spoiled with our superhero stuff anyway. We always get the films. Usually, it's just a day before. So, chickadee boo.
Well, it'll all finish off the year nicely, won't it?
Honestly, I cannot wait to see fucking Anthony Mackie back as a Cap in action. I love everything Loki and WandaVision and what this has given us, but I keep saying to you, I can't go over that speech. I just love Anthony Mackie and I love Captain America. That's fucking me. the best visual scene for me was still seeing him fly through that window and fully unveil the outfit. I was like, oh, this is mint. So fucking good. But do you want to check out a weird random theory? Any Avenger we've seen so far that we might see, that you would like to see randomly pop up? Doesn't mean it doesn't have to make sense. Just one random bump into.
Well, I'd like to see Natasha back. To be fair,
yeah,
because I think she was a badass, and it's just nice to see her back again.
So you're just gonna say I want to see Natasha. Yeah. I want to see him randomly bump into. Let's see. Funny, random, obscure. I want to see him randomly bump into. I want to see him randomly bump into Luke Cage. Like I said, we're not giving any reasons or right. I just want to see him going down the street and there's this big, badass, fucking bald dude in a yellow shirt. He's like, hey. He's like, hey. Just carries on. I just want to see Luke Cage. Because as far as we're aware, nothing's happening with them, but Disney have got the opportunity to do something. It's not going to happen. It won't happen, but because obviously we're not going to see Thor. That would be completely impossible. We could. I tell you, actually, I might change my answer to a Skrull Nick Cage. Because obviously
Frank Castle.
Frank Castle would be amazing. Just bump into Frank Castle. Like, what are you doing now? Just carry on. We don't need a fucking thing. This is just being fancy. You're saying enough to. But it'd be quite cool to see. Cool to see. Like, to be fair as well, if this is in New York and Spider-Man's back, well, nice to see him just
walking down the street, just see Spider in the background.
Yeah. or to see.
Or the Goblin.
Oh, mate. Oh. Or just to randomly see like a hustle and bustle, because we know that it's in New York. The billboards are all Spider-Man, bad guy. And Hawkeye, you could see one of the billboards, and Hawkeye's like, I know that guy. Why is he a bad guy? Fuck it, I'm changing my answer. Not physically, but I think that we will see a Spider-Man board or a J. Jonah Jameson podcast thingy. Spider-Man, bad guy.
Right, because it's set. Endgame was 2012.
No, Endgame was Avengers Assemble was 2012.
Yeah, the attack on New York was 2012, wasn't it? Yeah, that was in 2012. She was 5, 6 then. She's like what 22 now.
Endgame was 2025.
Aye.
And this is after Endgame.
I think this is 2 years after Endgame.
This is 2 years after Endgame.
I think if I read this somewhere, it's 2 years after Endgame. So what year does that put that in 2027? Yeah, but
that doesn't make sense because we know that the multiverse, like what the Spider-Man film we're getting, is only like a year or so after Endgame.
So that can't be right. That means that this will be after.
This will be after all the multiverse shit.
I'll have to look into that then, because that can't be right then.
Either way, we've both agreed. I don't think there's going to be multiverse shit happening.
No, there's not going to be any multiverse shit.
This is setting up the Spider-Man and all Loki and shit are all setting up the crazy, weird, and wonderful. This is setting up the future of just the people, the regular people that can't fly.
This is just looking at this. This is just Kate's future into the MCU.
100%. This is setting up
the MCU.
And there's definitely going to be a Dark Avengers or Young Avengers build up. One of them two. I completely
could get both.
If we get both,
we could get half of them will turn, who will go to the dark side, and then get turned into the Young Avengers. Like Alina, I think Alina would. I think Kate would.
But what's great about the Dark Avengers at the minute that we already know that it has potential to implode on itself because US Agent turned good, didn't he? At the end of Falcon Winter Soldier,
but he could stay on the dark side though.
He could, but he got recruited. Again, he's going to be misled. Yeah. But being misled, you can eventually see the light and be like, honestly, this whole thing's been wrong. Yelena, we know, is good. She's just been told lies because she loves her sister. This guy killed my sister, so she's just filled with hatred and lies. She could turn back.
With Kate being young, I think she'll just get misled.
Young and naive and misled. I do like that shot, though, that she's getting thingy. That could be quite cool. But to be fair, before we get to the questions, we need to see how they get out of this mess because it ended on a cliffhanger, didn't they, with Tracksuit Mafia. They've got them. They're tied to the fucking, is it a merry-go-round? They're tied to whatever the fuck it is.
It looks like some horses on merry-go-round, didn't it?
But no, it's a thoroughly enjoyable show. And it is quite nice because
Natasha could turn up.
Natasha could turn up. Chris is obsessed with Marvel Zombie Natasha. That'll be even better. even better. Red Guardian. I'd fucking hello, Red Guardian here. I've come to save day. That'd be beautiful.
But look, who could turn up though? Theoretically, who could turn up?
Theoretically,
this is me asking you, who could turn up?
In terms of the MCU, what you mean from season 2 mess, or you mean at the end mess?
Just in theory, we've got the episode. Them two are captured. Cutscene. Next episode, who turns up?
With me being a boring bastard, nobody. They get themselves out of the mess. Sorry, I don't mean to be a boring cunt because I like to go on, but it's going to be a case of them. They'll get themselves out of this mess. I know it's a shit answer. I'd love to say. I'd love to say Hulk smashes the door down. Then you see Stormbreaker. Then there's Star Lord and Milano. I'd love to say this.
Because we don't really know the full story behind her father, do we?
No. If and when anybody crazy turns up, it's going to be like you said. The last episode to the second to last episode. That's For the rest of it, until up to episode 4, the early doors of episode 5, it's just going to be them two dealing with every problem.
Clint and the dog.
Yeah.
Pete the dog.
Pete the dog could turn up and like, rawr, and fucking...
If you rescue, you can have some pizza.
There you go. How would the duck, there you go. Gonna be weird. How are the ducks turning up?
Well, we've got a dog, we might as well.
There we go. Well, we could have Cosmo. He's the Russian dog in the Guardians. He speaks right. He's got like psychic powers. He can paralyze people and shit. But he talks like that. He's Star-Lord. Where are you with my units? He's fucking mint. I love Cosmo. We have seen him in the MCU. We saw him with Stan Lee's cameo with the Watchers in Guardians 1 or 2. I can't remember now. And we saw him in the Collector's Room. So we have seen Cosmo. We know Cosmo's about, but he's in space. He's actually running nowhere in like the comics and shit, so I don't know. But he's just a fun little niche character. But there is Lockjaw from the Inhumans. There is quite a lot of cool dogs in the MCU. I like Lockjaw, teleporting big badass.
I like Lockjaw.
He was cool as fuck. What was he? He's a bulldog, isn't it? That's that breed.
He looks like a bulldog,
I'm sure it's a bulldog, isn't it? Like a British bulldog.
He looks like a bulldog. British bulldog.
It's Wolverine turns up, mate. Wolverine turns up. Him and Clint have had old man Clint and old man Logan have had a comic book run plenty of times.
Oh, nice. That'd be mint.
Mate, I put them upstairs as well. It's fucking sick as fuck. Oliver Queen shows up. Completely wrong franchise, but he's like, you think these are the best archers? Fuck off. And they have like a bow off. Oliver Queen, everybody, confirmed.
He's dead now, bless him.
Well, but multiverse.
Could be his daughter.
Yeah. DC, Marvel of Disney have now bought DC. Batman rocks up. All of them. Ben Affleck. Half Ben Affleck, half Robert Pattinson. They rock up. Wonder Woman with a shield.
We will not get that crossover for years.
Fucking hell, mate. But yeah, there we go. Visuals, that was Hawkeye episode 1 and 2 review breakdown. I'm going to be so boring. I'm going to be so cliche. I'm going to be so fucking typical Dan optimistic. I'm just going to be usual me and be a boring cunt and say, I'm sorry, I've got no gripes with it. It's a 10 out of 10.
Why was that boring?
Because I am very optimistic and I am very good at overlooking stuff because it's a franchise I love. Instead of me being like, well, it wasn't a perfect 10 because it should really be in that. Because I just fucking loved it and I'm refusing to see anything that could be a down point. I'm just saying 10 out of 10. Just I fucking loved it. I've got nothing bad to say about it. I'm too optimistic. So anything with Spider-Man. This Spider-Man film could be 4 hours and it's just him stood there and occasionally he just goes, I'm going to say 10 out of 10.
She's the voice of Spider-Gwen. And we're gonna go see that again soon, aren't we?
Oh, think of what the fuck just popped up on my phone there.
It's the multiverse. We'll see that again soon.
Maybe. Miles Morales is popping up.
Yeah. Like I say, I'm enjoying it so far.
It is fun.
I think it's kind of a bit biased, obviously, with Haley, but I'm enjoying it.
Like I say, you never have to apologise for being biased. I'm always biased to Spider-Man.
And like I say, it's a guy who we have not really given much credit on, and it's nice to...
Yeah, everybody's got their own films, including Black Widow.
It's nice to give him credit. And, yeah, I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be a good season for him.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to be disappointed. Surely, because it's just a fun little trip.
The thing about that, give it another couple more years and all these will be gone and we'll have all these new people.
Yeah, because we hear that this is his last film, which leaves us then with Bruce Banner as Hulk and...
Which I don't think is going to be about much longer, to be fair. Same with the Guardians. I don't think we're going to see much more of that.
Yeah, Iron Man's gone. Captain America's gone. Black Widow's gone so far. So that leaves Hawkeye, Hulkin. Who the fuck have I missed out there?
I don't know. There's been a lot of names said about lately.
Yeah, but no, basically you are right. He is one of the remaining few
he's
OG
one of the OG lots, and he, like I say, he's never really had the credit, even though he's been in since pretty much day one.
Mate, he was, again, regular guy, but he was running, holding the nano gauntlet, keeping it away from Thanos and shit. Doing a lot of cool, badass stuff.
So it's nice he's got his own little thing.
Yeah.
He's involved with, and it's like if I want to go, I want to go this way.
Yeah.
And it was the same with Natasha. She had her saying, now it's Clint's.
Yeah, hopefully.
But weirdly, we're going to see Natasha in something else.
Well, yeah. Chris said there's another thing that she. But again, we still don't know if it's front of camera or behind. If she's just helping another. Yeah. But we'll see. But multiverse is about to happen, so we do not know anything.
Could be the Red Room.
Yeah, the Red Room. Could be the first. Yeah, that's what I said to you, didn't I? Yeah. If they do, she could be like a Red Room.
That'd be interesting to watch the Red Room.
Yeah. But we'll leave it there. Visuals. We've got 5 minutes till kick off. Visuals. Go watch Hawkeye. 10 out of 10. Keep it new and keep on keeping on.
And as always, goodbye.